Hey everyone, this is a recorded session of Power Up with Power Apps portal workshop organized by Hyderabad Power Apps and Power Automate user group. And I am Ritika Agarwal, and I'll be talking about the basics of Power Apps portals and what you can configure where and how you can get started with building your first Power Apps portal. So let's go ahead. A little bit about myself. I work as a cloud specialist at Applied Info Services India Private Limited. I am also the UG leader for Hyderabad Power Apps and Power Automate Group. If you want to connect with me on Twitter or through my email, you have the credentials on your screen here right now. So you can connect to me on Twitter. You can send me an email if you have any questions or the last one, agarwalritika.com. It's my personal blog where I write about my learnings and the tips and tricks you can also follow while debugging any issues you are facing on the platform. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the objectives we are going to cover as part of this workshop. So first, we'll talk about the basics and the configurations that are needed to configure the portal app and what you need to import or anything that are like prerequisites for building your first portal. Then we'll see how you can configure role based securities on the basis of let's say you have two different divisions and you want to differentiate their users on what data they can see. You can configure role based security based on that. Then you have the capability of external users, and then we'll see how you can back up your portal and migrate that to a different environment. We'll also see what all customizations you can make on the portal app and make it more based on your company's guidelines or your design standards. Then we'll see a bit of tips and tricks that I have learned from my experience on the Power Apps portal. So let's get started. Let's talk about the overview of Power App portals first. What is Power Apps portals and why do we need it? So let's think of it as this. I We can currently build model-driven apps and Canvas apps in the Power Apps environment, but these apps are only accessible to the users who are uh, inside our Azure AD. So let's say I am running a company A. All those people who are existing in my organization, they can access those apps. But in a case I want to share the app or whatever I'm creating with external users, with everyone around the globe. No need to assign them licenses and all that. So this is where Power Apps portal comes into picture. Through Power Apps portals, we can create external facing websites, which means we'll have a URL and we can browse to that URL from anywhere. I mean, unless we have applied any IP restrictions, which is like a feature available, uh, so until we have applied that, it is accessible to the world. We'll have the URL something like, let's say I am calling my Power Apps portal as my portal. Then the URL will be something like myportal.powerappsportals.com. This URL should be unique, just like every other website. So here we can configure external facing websites, and we can also perform CRUD operation on the data we have stored in CDS. It could be present as part of multiple entities or be it any relationship or anything. We can perform all types of operations on our data. We can also configure entity permissions. This is required where only want to show my data to respect some selective users, not everyone. So in that case, I can enable entity permissions, and let's say only authenticated users are allowed to see the data. What I mean by authenticated users is the person who is logged in into my application. Since this is an external facing website, anyone can access it, and for the home page or any public available page, there is no need for login. So if someone is, let's say, logged in and I only want them to see a specific page and that page contains data from CDS, I can set the entity permissions in that way. Next is like anonymous access. This is required when I don't want the external users to log into the page. I can create some static pages. It could be dynamic as well. So anyone without a login, they can also access the application. Then we can build multiple reusable web templates as part of the configuration. Reusable web templates are useful when we are trying to, create some kind of a, you can say a standard or something that we are going to use on multiple pages. So an example of web template would be like your header or your footer, or if you have anything else, like you can design the template for a whole page, and that can be reused at multiple places. Apart from the out of the box capabilities, you can also use HTML and JavaScript code to enhance the feature of your portal. So let's say you want to create a beautiful visual showing the progress bar or all those things, that can be done using HTML, or you can use JavaScript in some cases. Let's say I have a page where I am showing all the um, you can say all the records present in my entity, and I want to set up a navigation in a way that whenever I open that page, I want a specific value to be defaulted. So that can be done using JavaScript. So this was like the overview of the portal. Now let's move forward and see how you can, what this portal looks like and how it works. So talking about the design, we have Power Apps portals available for multiple devices. We can use this Power Apps portal on a mobile device or on a tablet device or maybe on a desktop as well. So as you can see in the picture, this is a responsive design. If I'm opening this Power Apps portal on my mobile phone here, so this looks something like, okay, I have a shrinked header, then there is my page heading and then the description about this website. Same if I open it in a tablet mode, this is like now I have this header where I can see the links for home and report. So this is like responsive. If I'm opening this on a mobile device, I won't have enough space to show this home and report buttons. But with this, you can say responsive design, you can build your portals easily. There are a list of components you can directly drag and drop to any of your page. So let's take the page as a canvas, and you can drag and drop controls just like you do in the canvas apps. So I mean, in this picture, if we focus here, we can add one column section or two column section and three column section, and there are a few components as well. I can add a text, a image, or a breadcrumb. Form list is useful when I am trying to retrieve data, or I mean, I want to perform any of the crude operations on the data that is stored in CDS. So that's where these forms and lists are configured. Now, the usage of these one column section and two column section is like when I'm opening this page on a desktop, so I can see, okay, this is a one section one, and this is section two. But if I am going to open the same page in a mobile device, then it is automatically adjusted like in a desktop, the second section is on the right of the section one, but on a mobile device, it will be below section one. So this is like your Power Apps portal designing works. If you are using any of the controls that exist out of the box, they'll take care of the responsive design automatically. But let's say if you're adding your own JavaScript or HTML code and you have added any of your own components, then it's your responsibility to make sure that it is aligned to your design and nothing is like not rendering properly when you're showing it on any of the devices. So this is like how you can configure the design of a Power Apps portal. Now, as part of this demo, we'll be looking at a date. You can say a scenario where we'll have a few courses, then teachers, they are going to create these courses, and students can enroll in any of these courses. And then students, once they are logged in, they can see like what all courses they are logged in, they are enrolled in. So, and the same for teachers, if they are going to log in, they can see who, which subjects they are teaching as a class, and what all students are enrolled as part of it. So let's go and see how you can, start with the portals. This is something we are going to build at the end of, not at the end, but after we are done with the basics. So we'll try to configure something like this on our portal. And so let's take a look first at the basics of the Power Apps portals.